Can you see me? Well, I can't see you.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Casey, if you wouldn't
There we
mind
go. I can see you. I
screen
can see you.
share.
I can
Great.
see you.
How are you today, Dr. Tregas?
Very well, Maggie. Thanks. So, since yesterday when we last met, lots of things have happened. I had a bad night. I couldn't sleep. I woke up, fired my revenue officer because he just wasn't doing the job. I'm in a mean firing mood.
Oh,
So,
I'm really sorry to hear that. So then I
yeah,
will not waste your time and I will get started.
let's go.
Um,
Let's go.
so Jeff, I don't think you know me. My name's Maggie Gates. I'm the team captain for the blue team of I. Dr. Torregas asked me for 3 things yesterday. He would like to see some slides to present to the board on our customer-facing functionalities, successes and failures of the attackers, and suggestions for the CEO on how to be more involved with the security of the company. So for that, I've prepared some slides for you. I would like to apologize in advance. They're a little verbose, but I figured verboseness was good for you to take them to the board rather than short points. So we'll get started with customer-facing functionalities. You saw this slide yesterday, but we have 6 key customer-facing functionalities. You have your 2 DNS and what they are is they're responsible for how the internet finds, say, google.com. Then you have your e-commerce platform, which is how we sell the things that we sell. We have our email so that our customers can check their email. We have OpenEMR, which is our medical record site, and we have Security Onion, which is a security tool. I wasn't sure how much information you wanted to provide to the board, so I also provided with you a slide with some more detailed information on those.
We can deep six this one.
Okay. Happy to do that. So next, let's move to successes and failures of attackers. I don't really like thinking about it in terms of attacker successes. We're just going to talk about some key disruption of services that I thought might be important for you to know, and then we'll move on to the successes of my team. So there were 3 key disruptions of services. The first one happened yesterday from 9:45 to 10:45 a.m. Our AD-DNS went down due to significant malicious activity. Luckily, that didn't affect any current employees, as they all, current customers, as they probably had some cached information, which just means that from prior activity, they were still able to access, say, google.com. However, any new customers would have had some issues with that. Our senior threat hunter was deployed, additional measures were taken, and we wrote up a full incident response, full incident report in order to collaborate with law enforcement that has been sent in, and hopefully we will be well on our way to tracking down who caused this. Next up, we had a pretty significant disruption of services, so I'll spend a little more time explaining it. But from yesterday at 1:15 p.m., oh, I'm sorry, I'm thinking ahead. We had a quick disruption of services of our Palo Alto firework. The network then went down due to significant malicious activity. It was down for about 2 hours, and this was a pretty big deal. Essentially, we had some malicious activity. We tried to solve it by doing a hard restart on the box responsible for this. But due to the pandemic, when an issue arose with that, we were not able to access the hardware and able to fix that. This meant that we were unfortunately forced to rebuild some of that infrastructure and move over all of our customer-facing services to that new infrastructure. This was a really regrettable, and we are deeply sorry for the time that it went down, because no customers would have been able to access any of our online services. We did collaborate with external incident response to make sure that our customers knew what was happening and that we were working on it. And we had our senior network engineer deployed to identify how the attackers got in, and then, like I said, reformat that firewall for all of the new infrastructure. Luckily, all of our services were safely and successfully migrated. So we'll take that down as a success as far as my team responding to this. The last thing was we had a fairly long issue with our AD-DNS, which was, like I said, responsible for taking us to Google for any of our new customers. This issue was a byproduct of having to move all of our services over. The service was recreated and all of the availability was restored, but it was down for quite a bit of time. As before, we worked with external incident response to make sure that our customers knew what was happening, why it was happening, and that it was being worked on. So moving on to team successes. We have an 8-person operations and security team. They've been working around the clock to try and keep all of our publicly facing systems online despite all of these attacks that we've been facing. We've been really focusing on the email, e-commerce, and our ERM system. We also have focused our network engineers into creating some comprehensive firewall rules. We've been able to monitor these rules and found that we're blocking roughly 220,000 or more malicious packets per hour. Malicious here means that it doesn't match our valid service requests. So it's activity that should not be happening, and that's why I'm labeling it malicious. Lastly, our team successfully responded to 3 confirmed incidents. Incident response teams located malware on 6 company systems and remediated them before any damage or disruption of services could be done. We then implemented new security policies, network protection policies to help prevent this in the future. And all of those incidents were written up. And like I said, we are collaborating to help make sure that things like this don't happen again and the attackers are addressed. Finally, you asked for some suggestions from the CEO, and I put together quite a few potential contributions so that you could see what you might like. Some of those include setting up regular meetings with your technology, security, and response teams to help promote communication, collaboration, and to discuss any past incidents and how to improve them. The next few points all have to do with instilling a culture of responsibility by all with your company. So encouraging appropriate IT practices and offering education and training in secure technology practices to everyone in the company. Perhaps filming a statement to be shown at new hire and new customer orientations on the importance of security and IT practices, and starting a campaign and appointing people from within the company to help promote better IT security. And we suggest perhaps offering prizes or letters of recognition from the CEO for best practices, social media posts, etc., to help really involve the entirety of the company. So with that, I'll stop sharing and address any questions you might have.
Let me tell you, Maggie, this was an excellent presentation. Finally, someone is talking to me in words that I can understand. Your recommendations to the CEO are right on target. I've had this gut feeling that cybersecurity should be everybody's responsibility, not just yours. And you finally kind of helped me articulate that. That's a message I can take to the board.
I'm glad I helped.
Yes. On the funny side, you need a good editor for catching funny mistakes on your slides.
Okay.
Yesterday you had disruption of surfaces, and I was thinking of the surface, some kind of disrupting instead of services. Today you've had Saturday being April the 5th.
Oh no! And yesterday was April 4th. You're right. I did make a couple mistakes on
So
those.
those are small mistakes. I can get the observer distracted, because now all of a sudden they think about the mistake rather than the substance. The substance was excellent. I know that you faced problems, but as far as I'm concerned, from the CEO perspective, I really like your presentation, and I want to help you succeed as much as I can. And I'll follow up on your advice. Now over to my CIO to see what ideas he might have.
Great.
Yeah, Maggie. So your team did a factory reset at a firewall, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and what basically in the procedures for doing that reset caused the disruption or the failure of that system to recover?
Sure thing. I'll walk you through some of our steps, and please let me know if it's too technical or not technical enough. But essentially, when we realized that due to malicious activity, we wouldn't be able to access the control system for our firewall, we had previously downloaded an ISO, or an image of a clean OS or operating system for the firewall when we had upgraded to a more secure version. So in order to do a full restart, we wanted to boot from that clean ISO, and somewhere in the process of dealing with the malicious activity and having downloaded that ISO, we believe that the ISO was no longer clean and had been corrupted in some way. We're not fully sure how that happened. We did take time to call up an expert in Palo Alto boxes and walk through our steps with him to make sure that, we didn't make any glaring mistakes, and he doesn't believe that we did. So it really had to do with, at some point, that ISO got corrupted, and and when we tried to reinstall from it, it didn't work properly. So had we been able to access the box physically, we would have done a hard reset in person there. But because of the pandemic, we just did not have access to that box, and unfortunately then had to move to a different box. So that's why the downtime was so extended.
So is the only way to do a master reset or a factory reset of that firewall physically?
You know, I believe so, but I can't say 100% confidence. I would be happy to put you in touch with our senior network engineer if you'd like some more, if you have some more questions though.
Okay. And so what's the current state then of the systems? You kind of went through team successes and that all looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to get some insight into, overall through health monitoring of our systems,
Mm-hmm.
See where we're at. And so team successes kind of made me think, hey, things are pretty good. What's the current status of things?
Sure. So as of right now, and I'm looking at our status checks, our AD-DNS, it looks like it's down, and I'll have to investigate exactly why, but everything is up, everything else is up, which is a huge win for us after having to completely move our services. So we've been struggling a little bit with our AD-DNS because in the process of moving from our old system to our new system, we know that there was some malicious interference, and we've been working really hard to make sure we root out any traces of that interference. And so clearly we still have some work to do, but I'm pretty confident in my team that they'll be able to get that service back up for you.
Okay. And so on the other side of successes, we'll call them, we won't call them failures, but we'll call them learning opportunities. So when you, as the team lead, look back at how the team's been performing, what have you captured in terms of lessons learned, and what might you do differently, especially now that we have at least a refresh of our system going forward?
Absolutely. So we have, when we got back onto our new system today, we put a real priority on making sure to tighten down all of our network rules and making sure that we implement some complex firewall rules to help block any incoming danger while we were really securing all of what is essentially fresh boxes for us. So that really helped us, and we had some great service uptime. In fact, this recent AD-DNS down is very recent. From the majority of the morning, all of our services were up and acting well. So I think prioritizing those complex network rules and making sure we get them in really helped us today, and could have helped us more yesterday. I will say though, there are a lot of learning moments, but I think mostly the past 2 days have been successful for me viewing my team, because they put aside their frustration at this onslaught of red team attacks and really focused on getting work done. So I think you have a good security team on your hands, and I do as well.
Very good. Very good.
All right.
Any other questions?
No, Maggie, I think time is of the essence, and I got to go to catch my helicopter to the board meeting. I'm going to
Understood.
last slide of yours, and hopefully it's going to give me a big win. Thank you very much for all you
Great.
do for the company.
Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Maggie.